What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. Before we get into the usual programming here and just talking about the average stuff that we look at on a day in and day out basis, I want to look at a different kind of perspective. I don't know if we're going to get anything from this, I want to see, and if it's a waste of time, maybe I'll just restart the video without this part. But I think we'll find some interesting stuff here. We're going to compare OnyxCoin to the others chart, right? You can see others here. We're throwing on another chart over this chart here. Here's the readings, here's the market cap, here's the price and stuff like that right there. And then here's OnyxCoin. I hope it's very clear as to what's what. So others, for those of you who are unaware as to what others is the rest of the crypto market cap, or the rest of it's the total crypto market cap excluding the top 10 coins. In other words, it's like the index, right? Think of like the S&P 500, but for the top 125 coins in crypto. Essentially, it's like that, right? If we're looking at this, I'm hoping that we can deduce some behavioral patterns with when OnyxCoin pumps versus when the rest of the market pumps and whenever it dumps off. So if we're looking at this, because most of the time crypto does move in tandem together, right? Most of the time. So if we're looking at this here, the other chart you can see topped off at the same time as OnyxCoin here. We topped off back in March 2024. A lot of things ran up, right? Here, OnyxCoin did top off a little bit beforehand, but more or less everything consolidated at the same time, found its lows at the same time. We started moving up. Here, we topped off at the same time. Everything started to move down at the same time. It does seem as though OnyxCoin moves down. It makes its moves down a little bit faster, but maybe we're just not in the right scope. I don't know. Overall, moving down together in tandem, finding a low here, finding a low there, double bottom, a little bit of a higher low. Here, OnyxCoin kind of lags, it seems. The market's moving up already, getting higher highs and stuff like this, consolidating at these levels. OnyxCoin is yet to do this. And yet here at this pivotal moment where the market really takes off, OnyxCoin does follow suit as well. And it's pretty damn close as far as overall performance goes. Stops as well right there, right? Again, stopping a little bit ahead of the rest of the market, a little bit ahead of the rest of the market. I want to make sure that I'm getting this right. Are there any wicks? Nope. A little bit ahead, just like days ahead, nothing crazy. Looking at it here, okay, OnyxCoin this time ran all on its own. It didn't need the rest of the market to run. So what happened here? There were a couple of big things that happened back here that were pertinent to OnyxCoin itself, and I think to DeFi itself. That might have allowed it to grow. There were the markets did grow at this time. OnyxCoin just had a bigger piece of that pie, and while the market was actually starting to pull back here, OnyxCoin continued to grow. Now we all started to move down at lower prices. We actually found the low at the exact same time as the rest of the market and started moving up. But yet again here, we found our high like a day before the rest of the market. Here, you found your high a little bit before the rest of the market as well. So OnyxCoin, unfortunately, this behavioral deduction that I hope we're doing here, if we're looking at it right, it doesn't really tell me when to expect a pump. It seems as though we pump with the rest of the market. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think what we can deduce here is that OnyxCoin will see its next move up when we anticipate the rest of the market to move up. And hey, maybe we can look at the others chart and see if we can deduce something from there, just based on that note. But if it is based on that note, I expect the rest of the market to move up in about a week. So this next week's going to be boring / downside. If it's not boring for a week, then the next 3 days are going to be hectic. We're going to dump real hard, and then we're going to pump afterwards. But whether it's boring for a week or a little bit hectic for the week, we're probably not moving up like today or tomorrow. Okay, it's probably going to be a week or so. But what we can tell at least is where OnyxCoin is topping off. It does seem to be at relative areas that are just before the rest of the market starts to top off every single time, right? Like here, even relatively speaking down here, all the way, if I can just pull the pink line down, damn it, there we go. All the way down here, you topped off right before the market topped off, right? Here, you topped off here on this day, basically right when the market topped off, but still a day before, and then really started moving down before the rest of the market started moving down. Here, you topped off before the rest of the market topped off. Finding support at the same area, topping off here again right before the market topped off. Isn't that kind of weird? That's kind of weird. It's kind of interesting. So something to pay attention to. I don't know, that might not help with OnyxCoin so much as the rest of the market, but that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's just a coincidence or not. But what I want to look at now is I want to look at the others chart. Let's look at that real quick. Yeah, we'll use the ribbons. Sure, let's do that real quick. because depending on what the rest of the market does, that's going to help out with OnyxCoin moving up higher. It does seem it has an easier time, and it does like to move up when the rest of the market's ready to move up to it. It'll move down as long as the rest of the market's moving down. They bottom off at the same time. Onyx tops off earlier, but bottoms out at the same time, right? I just had a thought while we're having fun here. I had a thought. I'm curious. Did anybody comment on this? Nobody. Oh, we got one comment. Hey, Chris, you've got an impersonator. I report him. He spells his last name with only one R. Thank you, Boyce. Thank you, bro. That's a dope name, actually, by the way. Boyce. Or is it Boyce? I think it's Boyce Christensen. That's cool. That's a really cool name, man. Honestly, I like that name. I love Pantera Rip Dimebag Daryl. Hey, Jin. Yes, Jin got it. Yes, yes, yes. I was saying, what interesting things might we find? Yes. Hey. Right here, buddy. Yeah, you know it. You know it. Absolutely. B3, hey, that's interesting too. There's a couple that we talk about that are on here. Pantera Capital, you guys, this is a big deal. Jin, you got the winner there. Jin is the magic Jin, man. Hell yeah. Somebody rubbed your bottle the right way. Anyways, looking at the others chart, it does look as though we're about to get a daily cross. Oftentimes with these crosses, it's actually very common to pull back into them. So if the price is below the ribbon here, it's going to look like it's going to prevent this thing from crossing. And I do believe that on the other chart, it looks like we're going to continue going lower. I really do believe we're going to go lower. So we're going to get a bit of a rejection. We'll probably come down again the next week, maybe even 2 weeks will be bearish. Who knows? 3-day time frame not looking like a cross, looking like we're going to reject here. Weekly time frame looking like we're going to get a bearish cross. Wow, that's a bit intense. That's a bit. To be fair, we've kind of disrespected the ribbon. To be fair, when you move sideways, you do disrespect it. So maybe it doesn't have as much weight. Monthly looks fine. But yeah, so all this is suggesting that we go lower. So that's not really that helpful. Let's refresh this page and do something without the ribbon. We're talking about OnyxCoin. This is an OnyxCoin video, you guys, in case you didn't know. But we're talking about others first. So yes, others here finding resistance, higher highs in the RSI, lower highs on a closing price basis. Actually, that is hidden bearish divergence in all fairness. Rejecting the overbought zone, looking like you want to come down. You probably do come down from a low to a high. I would anticipate down at least to that 217 area, the 382, the yellow line. From the current readings, that'd be something on the lines of like a 5-6%. Now, if Bitcoin's going to drop 8%, you're going to drop more than that. So probably down to your golden ratio, yeah. You'll find support where you found support before, something that's on the lines like a 13% drop. I could see that. As far as when is it going to happen, I don't think that this is really helping us out here, right? Over the coming days is what I'm seeing. Maybe over the coming week or weeks, plural. 4-hour time frame looks like it's about to get started. So we're not showing any signs of exhaustion to the downside yet. We're showing signs of getting ready. So unfortunately, this part of the video definitely did not help us determine as far as like when is OnyxCoin going to bounce. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It could bounce at any moment. That's why we hold our long-term bags and we don't sell all of our OnyxCoins. We hold a lot of our, at least I do. Most of my portfolio is in OnyxCoin. Like it's my biggest bag at the moment, and that's why we hold it, because you never know when this next pump could come. But looking at the other chart, looking at Bitcoin, looking at OnyxCoin, it makes sense that we'll go lower. And now we'll get into the standard part of the video. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, by the way. Thank you all for being here. You know, when you bounce off of this area, you can see here, right? I was talking about triple bottoms in my earlier video and why they're rare. Looks like a triple bottom now. Getting the look of a triple bottom is not rare. Getting the actions, the follow through of a triple bottom, that is rare. It's like less than, I bet for every time you see this, I would bet that you could probably find 100 examples of this, and in every single one of those examples, all of them break to the downside. None of them provide a true triple bottom. I would bet you could. I'm not saying that that's exactly how it is. I would bet that, you know, on average, you probably do get like 10 or less that do work out of that 100. But I wouldn't be surprised if we took like 100 people and 100 of you people looked for 100 examples of a triple bottom. I would bet that over half of you would have 99% or more, a full perfect 100% ratio of failed triple bottom attempts. They're very rare patterns. They're very powerful patterns if they work out, but they're very rare patterns, okay? And just beyond that, looking at the triple bottom here, the potential for it and why it's not going to work out, you can see here, whenever you first got down to this low, You came down, you got the hell out of there. You came down, you got the hell out of there. You came down, and well, we're dancing. We're doing a little dance. We're having a good time. We don't mind this zone. And oftentimes, when you don't mind a zone, you get too friendly with it, you start flirting with it, you get some penetration, right? We're going to break right through and probably go lower. That's the expectation, right? From a low here to a high there, the minimum target would be 1.48 cents. The maximum target would be 1.3 cents. You could go anywhere and everywhere in between. I don't have buy orders set up for XCN yet. But I am thinking about setting them up at some point here pretty soon. And where I would buy would be probably between 1.48 cents to 1.4 cents itself in this area, probably not even below here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I would buy here willingly, just totally fine, with the idea that we could move lower, right? That's fine. If we go down here, I'm not worried about that move. I'm worried about the move up that's going to come. It's going to dwarf this move. It's going to make this move seem like small potatoes, insignificant, and it is, right? Don't try to squeeze the lemon for all the juice it's got. Just be happy with what you got and ride that wave to the upside, right? And that's why I'm going to buy down at that area there. I do believe we're going lower. It looks like we're going to go lower. We're consolidating right before the break. I think we're waiting on Bitcoin. We're waiting on the rest of crypto to move down, consolidating, cooling off on the indicators as far as downside perspectives go. And yeah, you look like you want more, man. Rejecting, you're bouncing off the oversold zone and you're not getting above the 40. Look, every time you bounce off the oversold zone, look at that. You got right above the 40 there. Oversold zone ripping up. Look at that, all the way up, right? Positive reactions. And I bet you grew after that, didn't you? Oversold here, ripping right through. What happened here? Oh, okay. Here you got oversold, but you didn't rip above the 40. You ripped to it, but you found resistance. What'd you do? Oh, you kept going down. All right, yeah. Okay, so we're probably going to go down. That's just my expectation. Here, you got oversold or near the oversold zone. You ripped above the 40. What'd you do? You moved up. Well, to be fair, you kept moving down, but you did move up in the immediate term. Here, what'd you do? You stopped moving down. You kept moving up. Here, what'd you do? Well, you found a relative low. You did move up a little bit, but you double bottomed, right? You didn't keep moving down. That's a double bottom. Here, what'd you do? You moved up, right? So it's just less likely that you'll move down in these kind of circumstances. It's more likely that you'll move down in these kind of circumstances. I hope that makes sense. Looking at the 1 hour time frame here, very bearish, very bearish on the 1 hour. So over the coming days, right? 1 hour is like a daily aspect, right? Because in one day you have 24 of these candles. 4 hours like a multi-day aspect, because in one day you have 6 candles. So 4 days you have 24 candles, right? So this is like a daily outlook. This is like a 5-day outlook, a 3-day outlook, somewhere in that range, right? So the coming day and the coming days are likely bearish for OnyxCoin, right? The coming weeks, however, are likely bullish. You have cooled way the hell off on your daily RSI. You are getting toward the 40, and you might bounce here. This is nice to see, right? Which could imply that OnyxCoin, whenever it bottoms out, it sees some kind of wick, major wick to the downside, and then closes up. We know how much it likes to do that. Every single low it has, every single high it has, is major wick city every single time. Or instead of bouncing at the 40, maybe we do go to the oversold zone, find support down there as we have before. And in fact, if we look at OnyxCoin, it looks like you'd like to find support just below the 40, not right at it. So it might not be appropriate to assume that you do some standard procedure stuff, because for OnyxCoin, bouncing off the 40 is actually not standard procedure. It's more like bouncing off the 35 is standard procedure, right? 35 area. You held the 40 there pretty well, to be fair. 35 area near the oversold area. Yeah, so probably a little bit lower, and that would make a lot of sense, because this would be good for like a day to drop. But we've seen on the 4 hour time frame, it's probably the coming days are going to be bad, which allows you to go to the oversold zone, I think. So lower prices all in all. Very convinced we do that. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Even being here at about 1.68 cents now, don't be surprised if we move up to 1.9 cents or even up to 2 cents. You guys, we could move up to 2 cents. And here's the things where it would get tricky, where it could be a bull trap. If we move up to 2 cents from here, we're not saved. You need a day to close above 2.02 cents, specifically close above 2.02 cents before we can get excited. I would be excited as hell if today pumped up and we closed just below 2 cents. I'd be super excited. But I would tell you it wouldn't be enough. We need to close a little bit higher. Until we do that, it's not enough. We could very well just be going down. This could be standard volatility on the way down still. And I think that's exactly what we're doing, is we're moving down here, right? If this is a bull flag, and I think that it might be the formation of a bull flag, right? Lower highs here, lower lows here, some kind of flag here, we could move up, find resistance at the bull flag, and then come back down and find support right down there at that 1.4, 1.43 cent area, right in that zone there. It wouldn't look too crazy. Anyways, I don't know if I have anything else that I want to say, right? Inevitably, OnyxCoin, all the downside talk aside, we will be moving up higher. I think something to help us with that will be the others chart. We'll be paying attention to that. Whenever the rest of crypto looks ready to move up, OnyxCoin will likely move up. Unfortunately for OnyxCoin, the rest of the market looks like it's not ready to move up. And that's great, right? Because if we can tell when the rest of the market looks like it wants to move up, we start doing, I do analysis on like 13 coins a day, if not more, right? Or maybe sometimes less, actually. I do 13 videos a day. If we're looking at a bunch of coins and we start to see that the conglomerate of videos that I make is bullish, then the rest of the market's bullish. Even without looking at the others chart, we could probably deduce that the rest of the market's looking to turn around. That'd be a powerful signal for OnyxCoin. And especially so because OnyxCoin, whenever it comes time to move versus most of the market, it moves at a faster pace. It outperforms. And let's just do this real quick before ending the video. XCN to others here. We'll do this. We'll just click enter, make our own chart. So this is OnyxCoin versus others. Now, it's not logarithmic. It says it's logarithmic, but you can see if I click in and out, oops, not index to 100. You see how it just doesn't do anything, right? It's literally there. So anyways, what does index to 100 mean though? I'm kind of curious now. I don't know. What can I do it? What is that? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Anyways, it's just to make things easier as far as like seeing it goes, visually goes. Maybe we could do that because what are these arbitrary numbers going to do for us anyways? Let's index it to 100. Sure. Oh, but we can't. Okay. Never mind. Okay, sorry. I'm getting this worked out. So it looks like OnyxCoin versus the rest of the market has dumped down a lot, and it has. Don't get me wrong, it has over the years. But over the recent years, over recent history, OnyxCoin has actually outperformed the market, right? Back in January, that's what this chart tells us. OnyxCoin versus others. Others is the rest of the market. If this is growing, that means we're outperforming the market. If it's dropping, that means the market's outperforming us. In the upwards movements, OnyxCoin the last two times, which, January 2025 here, we moved up. Even in December, you can see that we had some green weeks back to back to back. December through January, we actually outperformed the market. So moving up, OnyxCoin outperforms the markets. Moving down, not so much. The markets hold up better than OnyxCoin, but that's because when we move up, we see some bullish stuff. So all I'm trying to say by that is it's really bullish for the others chart to pay attention to that, because when this moves up, as bullish as this could be, OnyxCoin will only be more bullish, right? And we're waiting for that to happen. But I got nothing else for you guys. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves and watch for scammers, right, man? I'm not going to reach out to you on the YouTube comments asking you to join a paid group or anything like that. That's not my style. Okay, it's never going to happen. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Bye.